Hi, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'm Kat Shear, and this is a special presentation from Clydesdale Media. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone about our sponsors. RX Smart Gear provides world-class jump ropes, grips, and other gear for us all. Use the code Clydesdale15 for 15% off your order at rxsmartgear.com. Mobility Movement is a program that teaches you how to increase your capacity to heal, reduce recovery time, and restore your nervous system to peak health. Everyone gets a 7-day trial, and after that, our followers will get their first month free when they use the code Clydesdale Free Month at mobilitymovement.com. That's mobilitymvmnt.com. And finally, C4 Energy, delivering the most effective, best tasting, and highest quality products. Get 20% off when you use the code Clydesdale at checkout at c4energy.com. That's C, the number 4, energy.com. And today on Meet the Athlete, we are chatting with Granite Games semifinalist Jordan Hayward. Jordan, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, Catherine?
I'm doing great, thanks. I wanted to talk a little bit about the semifinals just finished. Did you get a chance to watch, Matt?
Yeah, I was right here watching all along.
All right, so first impressions.
There's a lot going on. I'm loving the final event from every separate semifinal, how they're making it a race to the finish. There's a lot of lunging that you're seeing, so there's a lot of specifics that need to be hit in that last couple steps for a lot of people. So I'm finding it well done, I think, by a lot of the events to make that last one interesting. And it's crazy to see last week, like with Will Morad, and then I just watched with Spencer Panchek. It was super cool to see him surpass a lot of guys at the end. So I think they've been super fun to watch. It kind of gives you that reminiscent regionals feel of how that last event always felt. But I think it's been awesome. It's been a lot of fun to watch, and every team, women, men final has been super exciting. So I'm loving it. I'm excited for next week. So
I agree. Yeah. What has the season been look like for you getting to this part so far?
Just a lot of hard work. I'm a gym owner. I have about 3 or 4 other coaches. I opened up with a business partner several years ago that kind of fell out. So I have a lot of support from my family and my parents and things like that. But as far as kind of day-to-day operations, it's mostly just me. So between balancing that out and trying to get all my programming and training done, it's a lot of hard work and just trying to just check the boxes off one day at a time. We actually have a little whiteboard. I'll write all my programming down every time I finish, walk up, cross it off onto the next thing, and just focusing on doing that one day at a time. Going into this year, I really didn't expect – I really wanted to make a push to try to qualify for a semifinal, and I didn't think this year was going to be the year. So, we just kind of went through it, and I ended up in 82nd and was pretty happy with that. So, the season has just been grinding, just putting in work. I've done a lot of weightlifting the last several years, competed, in the open and tried to make it back to regionals back in 2015, 2016, opened my gym, and it's been kind of just a balance since then. So this last year was really the year that I wanted to make the push to train to try to make it. So just doing CrossFit, really. I've had that base of strength. All in all, it's just been about kind of putting the work in day to day and kind of seeing where that took me. So I think I did the right thing, and I'm just going to continue to keep doing that and do my best next week and see what happens.
That sounds great. Do you have a coach?
Not like a specific coach. Yes, I do kind of. So Nic Johnston, he works with Proven. He's one of my super good buddies. So I kind of just keep in touch with him. We have like a small group chat with him and a bunch of buddies locally because Nick is from about an hour away from where I'm at. So him and I have gotten super close over the last several years. So he works directly with the Proven team with Shane and Dwight and all the guys down in Nashville. So him and I kind of just keep in contact. My training partner works directly with Nick. So we've had a lot of connections. So I don't specifically work with Nick on a day-to-day basis, but we definitely keep in touch. So Nick will be with me next week at Granite Games for sure, though. So,
oh, nice. You went to Nick's bachelor party in Vegas.
That's correct. Yeah, and I was lucky enough to stand in his wedding as well.
Awesome. Oh, that's great. Yeah, Nick's a great guy. He's a good friend of our broadcast, and we've had him on a few times.
Yeah, he was. Was he like one of your guys' first interviews? I think I remember he got an interview with you guys. I think if I remember, it was you.
Yeah, it was probably one of his first interviews. It might not have been one of ours, but yeah, we when we first started out, we were looking into coaches that were just kind of up and coming, and he had just joined Proven at that time, so we've built a relationship since then.
I remember he sent us that link, and we were like, all right, he's made it big time. So
He's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Let's get a shout out to your affiliate.
I'm the gym owner, my proud affiliate, CrossFit Melior. We're located in Highland, Michigan. We've been open for a little over 6 years. We have right around 100-ish members. Awesome community. I love them all, and I appreciate their support.
Nice. That's great. Motorcycles and hot rods. I feel like that's in your Instagram feed. Tell me a little bit about that.
Years back, I used to own a crotch racket.
Okay.
It was the Honda 600 CBR.
Oh yeah, my brother used to have one of those. Love
Okay,
them.
yeah. So I owned it not for too long, maybe a little over a year. I actually had to sell it because I wanted to be able to pay for my gym membership to be able to continue to train. So I was kind of like at a point where I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I've always wanted to own and open a gym. At that point specifically, I was like not sure about school, not sure about work, just kind of like, the one thing I was sure about was CrossFit. So whether it was school 3 days a week or work 3 days a week, I'd always make sure I try to train and compete and get into the gym every day, and even sometimes 2 days a week. So got to a point where I really wasn't working and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I had my motorcycle, and as much as I loved it, I had to sell it to make sure I could still pay for my gym membership at the time. So it's been worth it and it paid off, but I do miss it. I do oftentimes think about driving around, and I miss being on two wheels. So
yeah, I've never actually driven one. I've been a passenger on many.
okay.
And I have dreams. Like when I dream, sometimes I'm riding a motorcycle, like I'm actually driving it. And I don't, clearly I'm good at it, but I've never actually tried it.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, yeah, it's something that once you do, you obviously want to do it a lot more, but no, I miss it. It was a good time. So maybe someday down the road.
That's cool. Have you done like a mock training weekend yet? Like to figure out timing, food, recovery,
No,
all that kind of stuff?
Not like a specific like 2 events, rest in between. I mean, to be honest, that's kind of how like the training often is from a day-to-day basis is
Okay.
hit a Metcon or hit a lift piece and then rest, anywhere from 30 to 45 to an hour, and then hit the next piece. So I feel like I'm prepared as far as that transitioning between. The amount of volume that we oftentimes hit, I mean, I think 2 events a day won't be too bad. Obviously, the nerves and the environment and the amount of extra that you push in a competition hits you a lot harder than it does in a traditional daily workout. But I usually feel like I compete and can get into the competition groove setting pretty well. So the food and the things in between, I usually feel like I can stay pretty well on top of. So,
Okay. What is your athletic background?
Growing up, I played basketball was like my number one. Football was kind of like my number two. And then I did some baseball and some track in between. So good chunk of everything, but basketball and football were kind of my primary. So
Are you on the tall side? You look tall to me.
I'm 5'11", so
Okay.
I'm tall for CrossFit, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 5'11". I was like a point guard, shooting guard in basketball, so technically on the smaller side. And then I was a wide receiver in football. I can jump fairly well, so that was kind of my role. But yeah, I mean, as far as CrossFit, 5'11", I'd say is relatively tall.
What are some of your superpowers on the floor then in CrossFit?
Definitely, I love like Olympic weightlifting, like heavy, like more 1 rep max, and then high skills, like shoulder stamina and shoulder fatigue is kind of one of my stronger points. Strict handstand push-ups, handstand walking. Mostly like I love heavy snatching for like with a barbell. Maybe not so much lighter weight, more reps, but more for kind of like a 1 rep max or an event like that. So the clean event I'm looking forward to. The jerk is my favorite part. The cleans and the front squats, I wouldn't consider myself bad at, but my legs, I'm super flexible. So I kind of bottom out a little bit. So hopefully my mobility can hold up to that point and get me to that jerk. So hopefully I can land the jerk as well. So definitely to answer your question, shoulder stamina, handstand push-ups, Olympic weightlifting, things like that.
Okay. Well, I mean, at least it's good to know that if you get through the front squats, like no trouble,
Yeah.
like you won't be failing 2 jerks like Noah Olsen did this weekend.
Yeah. Let's hope so. I mean, I don't want to talk too much, but
shouldn't.
Let's hope. Yeah. So
are there other events at Granite Games that you're sort of like chomping at the bit to get to?
No, I wouldn't say there's anything that I'm like super duper excited about, but at the same time, there's nothing that I don't like dislike. So I feel like I have a decent balance. I think that's kind of how I operate as an athlete is like I will never really win an event, but I don't think that I would get like dead last either. So I feel like I'm pretty consistent somewhere in the middle. The first I just thought they just announced the order of events. So the handstand walk and thruster one is first. So I love the handstand walking, but I don't love the thrusters.
No, you're too tall for that.
No, exactly. So yeah, and I bottom out quite a bit in the thruster. So I mean, I can hold on to the thrusters, but I've tested that event. It gets hard on the trying to be upside down and breathe while you're on those handstand walks gets hard. So
let me ask you about thrusters real quick, because you talked about you being somewhat hyper mobile. In an instance like that, do you try to really then toe the line on breaking parallel so that you don't bottom out?
I can't. It's
You
like
can't. Okay.
like catching it, like for me to like catch a power clean, it's I either catch it here or my butt touches the ground.
Or you're
Like,
done. Oh,
I was
wow.
texting Nick and some of my buddies. I was like giving them just like some, I needed someone to kind of bounce an idea off of. So I sent them one of my complexes for the lift that I was practicing up to. And I tried to do 2 power cleans on the first 2 reps. And I caught the first one like super easy, came down. And then the second one, I was just like, just straight down. So a thruster, like a squat volume workout like that, like I even tested the one that was for the Mac, the 5 front squats, like not my favorite. Again, I've had some knee issues in the past. So, I mean, if my knees feel good, I can work through it, but not one of my favorite things. But to kind of come back to your question, I mean, there's really no toe in the line. It's just kind of bounce and go and get down. So
what do you think about all this ruckus with judging these days?
Oh boy. I think it could be sharpened up. I think the people that are becoming the attackers on the case, to be honest, I think CrossFit's making their job easy. I think someone needs to put their foot down and say, listen up, we got to do things the right way. I loved watching. I mean, it was unfortunate for the athlete, but I think it just saw Tyler Christoffel just got no rep like 4 times on that last lunge.
Yeah.
It sucked, but he didn't stand up on that last one.
Yeah.
I saw that happen with a couple other athletes. There was one athlete, I think Sean Woodland called it out, was like one guy like shuffled his feet and then like the judge didn't say anything and then he walked and it was like the guy just took a step forward. Like, so I think there needs to be
hard.
I definitely get that. And you got to appreciate the volunteers' time and what they put into it. I mean, again, I don't know if they're getting paid or whatnot, but you have to appreciate the time that the judges dedicate and all the event staffs and things like that. But to overall answer your question, I think it needs to be sharpened up. I've always been someone that has almost kind of sacrificed like time in my workouts to go slower, and especially being a little more mobile, like that hip below the knee parallel line. It's like, get your ass down. I mean, I'm over here bouncing my ass off my heels. So I'm always someone that's stuck to the standard. I tell members of my gym, if you can't do it right, don't do it. Slow down, do it the right way before you, go into trying to add weight or go faster, things like that. So it needs to be sharpened up. Somebody needs to put their foot down, whether it's at HQ or at these events, whether it's CrossFit or individual events themselves. So,
right.
Yeah.
Did you have any issues through the open and quarterfinals in terms of penalties?
No, not myself. I got one email from event 2, which was the pistol one. And pistols aren't usually a movement that I have a difficult time with as far as my range of motion. So I was fine on that one. I just got an email that's like, your score number 2 has been approved. That's the only email I got. I didn't get anything about any of the other ones. So as far as I know, that's all I got. I'm trying to think. I don't really know if I know anybody else that got. Some of the proven team I know down in Nashville, they got a little bit busted for their pistols. But other than that, I don't think I know much of anybody else that got docked on that. But
pistols are really hard to judge with one camera, right? Because if you get a good vantage point from one side, you have a 0 vantage point from the other side.
Absolutely. I would wish that CrossFit could make it almost a little bit easier on themselves. I think pistols are a challenging movement to test, but I think it's with the online format, you're only limited to do so much. And I think they need to just make it a little bit easier on themselves because again, everything comes down to that last second. So if they can find a way to make it easier for them to just judge and not make it such a head case or a headache to get through, that maybe that would be a little smoother. So whether maybe they substitute a wall ball or a thruster in place of that pistol, I mean, something like that would test it. But no, I was safe with it. So
What's the last workout at Granite Games?
The last event of the weekend,
Yeah.
it's the rope climb, the regional one.
Oh, really?
They put
They
that at the
made that the
end.
last one.
So, I mean,
Dang.
we're on the topic.
Okay.
And hopefully there's nobody at the end that gets docked
Right.
a leg clamp like, is it Adrian Conway or somebody? Oh, it was I can't remember which athlete it was. I'm trying to think of it, but uh, somebody years back, Roy Gamboa maybe got docked. I think
Oh,
the
yes.
last event he like had one hand on and then clamped his leg and smacked it, and it was like, I don't know. So hopefully there's no issues like that, but
Interesting. Yeah, it's funny when that one did come out, and I remembered that it was the last event in 2014. I was hoping that one of the semifinals put it as the last event, but there is something to be said for those dramatic march events too. You know, the slow rolling ones that you can kind of they're easier to call, I think,
yeah.
and easier to sort of predict what's happening. Because if you've got close points finish, like top five,
Oh yeah, that
it's
sprint.
going to be chaotic to sort of figure out.
Yeah, or somebody goes out too hot and they burn out on that last climb or something like
Yep,
that. So
we've seen that before too.
yeah, that should be exciting to watch. I was wondering if it was either going to be the handstand walk thruster one, because that would be kind
Hmm.
of a fun one to see who could kick up and hold on at the end. Um,
Yeah,
but I think the thruster one or the rope climb one will be pretty interesting to watch as well.
yeah, for sure. So who's cheering you on next weekend?
So my family's coming down. So I'll be staying. That's who I'll be staying with. My mom, my stepdad, my brother. One of our actually, she was a teenage athlete at the games last year. I train
Okay.
with her almost every day. So she's going to come down and hang with us. She's just a
Do you
diehard.
coach her?
Yes, yeah. Her name's Allie Blodgett.
Ali Blodgett, yeah. So if anybody goes onto your YouTube channel,
There's
they
a
will see
million.
every single qualifying event that you've done online, and
Yes.
then a few of Ali's as well on your
That's
page.
yep. So I was just trying to, I coached her last year at the games and years past in her online qualifier. So I just did the work for her just to keep it off her hand. So just kept all of her YouTube stuff up for her qualifiers and stuff. But so Allie will be with us. I'm gonna go down with Josh Woodhall. I think you actually spoke with him.
Yes, we did.
He's a buddy of mine. I'm gonna stay with him for the first 2 days. And then when my family gets there, I'll go stay with them at an Airbnb. And then
Is it a quick trip for you?
I'm flying, so two,
Okay.
3 hours. I mean, we're
All right.
Southeast Michigan. I've flown there before back to Granite Games in 2019, just as on a team competition. I did that with Nic Johnston as well. Um,
Mhm.
so we'll be down there, and then the proven team I think is going to be there. So Nick will be my coach there, and then I think we'll be get to hanging out with Shane and Tia, and I don't know, maybe Dwight and some of the other people as well. So that should be pretty exciting.
Very cool. And Sydney's going to be there too. So,
And Sydney, and then Nick Matthew as well, I think.
yep, you're
So.
correct. Did you go down for any of their camps?
Yep. So I was down
You did.
there for the semifinal camp that was back in April, I think is when that was. And then actually a couple months prior, back in December, Nick texted me and a couple of our good buddies from around here just to come down and hang for the weekend and train. So didn't have a ton of people there, but I think like Nick Matthew came down for that one, and Brooke was still doing some rehab stuff, but Sydney and Nicole Burke and a couple other people were kind of throwing down with us during that one as well. But the
Now,
semi
do you stay with Nick when you go down?
no, Nick lives in Knoxville, but he does kind of
Oh,
stay
that's right.
he's everywhere between Cookeville, Knoxville. I mean, he's with Taylor in Cookeville sometimes, who's on Mayhem, and he goes back and forth. So when I went down, I just stayed in a hotel by myself. The time before that, I got an Airbnb that was in Nashville back in December, and then the recent time was just back in just like a hotel. So
You still got to hang out with Bruce though, right?
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Bruce and I got
That's
some good
really
time
the only
too.
reason I asked.
I got to do some Bruce watching down in Florida too I was down there for their wedding too, so got
Very
to hang
cool.
out with some good Bruce content and stuff like that. So
Did you get to hold the leash during the ceremony, or?
no, Bruce had to hang back at the Airbnb, I think, for that, if I remember. Maybe he was in the hotel, I couldn't remember, but
Okay.
no, he wasn't at the wedding. So
That's surprising to me that he's
I
not.
know, I know.
That he
I for
wasn't.
sure thought they'd have him walk down or hold on to him or something.
Oh, Jordan. Well, it's been fun to get to know you. What is your goal for this weekend?
Oh, to be honest, to do my best. I mean, I've
Okay.
had a lot of members of my gym ask me that. To be honest with you, because going into this year, I had no expectations of what I was going to place or how I would do. I didn't really have a goal in mind, right? My goal was to just do like pretty well in quarterfinals and then see what happens. So because I made it, I mean, I thought next year was going to be the year. So all in all, I think my goal is just to do my best on every event. I've tested every one. So I would say my goal is to hopefully do as well or better than every event that I've tested so far and see where that takes me. But other than that, I don't really have any expectations. Just I want to perform well. I don't want to get caught up into all the lights and the people and things like that. So just keep my head down and just do my best.
Well, presumably you'll learn a lot, if nothing
Absolutely.
else,
Yes.
and it'll be things that you can just put in your toolkit for, the future. It sounds like,
Absolutely.
you got some future ahead of you. I have mad respect for affiliate owners. I know how hard it is. I own one myself, and
Yeah.
I can barely even do a workout
Yeah.
in a day. So the fact that you are doing what you're doing is really cool, and I respect it.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, best of luck to you. And my co-host Scott will be there.
Okay.
So look for him in his Clydesdale media shirt, and Nick will point him out to you because
Okay.
we'll be talking to Nick as well. But we'll be watching.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Catherine.
You're so welcome. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.